Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the More Now Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Zach.
The other one done.
So before we get into this episode, as always, go ahead, do us a favour, hit that like button if you find yourself enjoying this one. It really does help us out. We do appreciate it. And it does help to promote the podcast. And of course, sharing the podcast is sharing the more on love, shall we say.
The more one love, yeah.
Exactly. So, once again, we're going to jump straight into it with the moronic or not section. The first one on the moronic or not section is the dictionary.
Dictionary.
You know, the thing that you use to look stuff up, or a word up, I guess, if you don't know what it means. So basically, an old version of Google.
Who on earth uses dictionaries?
I mean, you read the dictionary, mate.
Oh, that shit.
So
I'm not gonna lie, but like, you could just use Google. No one uses them anymore.
I feel like it's a very, I feel like it's a very specific circumstance you're gonna need it. Like if you're in school or something, is the main one I can think of.
Oh yeah, it's fucking against using your mobile phone. Or
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly. You know, a funny story about this. I actually got banned from using the dictionary in year 5.
But then you tear one in half or something.
Oh no, that was a maths textbook. That's a story for another time. But
I
essentially,
remember this story.
so essentially, I being the year 5 me, I decided to look up boobs in the dictionary. I know, very funny. And I basically, the teacher was right behind me as I did it when I laughed, and they were like, "Oh well, you're banned from using the dictionary." So, I mean, they never technically unbanned me, but now that I think about it, I haven't used it since, so it hasn't really crippled me that much because I still have access to Google.
Blacklist with dictionary.
What?
They permanently blacklisted you for
Yes.
life from using a dictionary.
Yes, they did, Dan. But yeah, I mean, I got banned from using dictionary. I don't think I have used it since, for obvious reasons, because I have a phone, and if I need to look something up, I'll just go on that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
But actually, Urban Dictionary is a fucking ridiculous website. Most schools banned it now.
Banned everything.
I don't know if it's still available in people's schools, but I mean it was at ours by the time we left anyway. If anyone doesn't know, Urban Dictionary is just dictionary, except
I think the clue's in its name.
yeah, it's essentially
A modern dictionary full of modern slang words, I guess.
yeah, pretty much, and a lot of it is shit. So
pretty
like,
much.
I mean, some of it is actual like taken from the Oxford Dictionary, but but the other half is stuff like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that would be on Oxford Urban Dictionary. To be honest,
I don't think you should combine the word Oxford with Urban Dictionary. They just don't go together.
That is true. You know what? We're going Riz because we talked about that bit last episode. Which actually, since I found out, stands for charisma. So you know how we were saying like we don't actually know what Riz means. It stands for charisma apparently. So thank you to the viewer who told us that. You know who you are.
Why not just say char? Charisma. Oh yeah, I say charisma.
Yeah, exactly, because it's Riz and Rizma.
Is it spelled with a Z by any chance?
I think so, yeah. But
why does
anyway,
everything got to be spelled with a Z?
Because Americans are stupid and don't know how to spell properly. Anyway, yeah, dictionaries. I'm gonna say not moronic because actually no, I'm gonna change that moronic because one I got banned and two no one fucking uses them anymore.
One I got banned. Yeah, I'm definitely going for the same. Yeah.
Unless it's Urban Dictionary, which probably could have been its own moronic or not section. That's coming in a few episodes. Don't worry, people.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So the next one, cooking shows.
Oh, cooking shows.
So you know what? I've been watching recently. I don't actually know the name of it. But essentially, Gordon Ramsay has got a bunch of business owners and has said basically, if you win this thing, I'm going to invest 50 grand Was it?
Hell's
Yeah,
Kitchen.
50 grand
Is it Hell's
into.
Kitchen?
No, it's not Hell's Kitchen. Where it's basically Gordon Ramsay will invest 50 grand into said person's business if they
Oh
win a
no, I
bunch of
don't.
like cooking challenges and stuff. I'll tell you what, it's really good.
Not MasterChef because I know he does MasterChef.
Oh, MasterChef is good. I do like MasterChef.
Yeah. Hell's Kitchen is. I do like Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, I feel like it's quite
Even
old now though.
even though it's like what you would expect from an American reality TV show,
It is, yeah.
but he is. I don't know. It's just something about it I like.
Fair.
Uh, what
Um,
else?
what
Have you
other
seen Australian MasterChef?
Dan, there's a MasterChef in every region. I'm pretty sure.
Have you seen? There's like 62 episodes.
To be
They were like
fair,
an hour and a half.
it's actually not bad. Like I used to watch it a bit before school every now and then.
It is meant to be good.
It's actually
like,
all right.
There is like a lot of episodes.
Oh yeah, but then again, that's the same as the UK and US ones. Like you've got about 70,000 seasons each with like 24
How many
episodes or something.
episodes are there?
I don't know, mate.
It's not
Um,
60.
nah. Don't know actually. Depends. I think it depends on the region of the world and the amount of people in it, I guess. But
I think
dunno.
what they do in MasterChef, they do like a preliminary round where it's like you've actually got to get like a jacket. Like you compete against 4 or 5 other people in a challenge, and if you win that challenge, you get like one of those jackets.
Yeah,
They
maybe.
do that like for 4 or 5 episodes before the actual competition begins.
Yeah, could be.
It's just dragging it out.
But to be fair, actually, the UK one with, I think his name's Greg Wallace and the other Donny. The bald guy with glasses, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure that will narrow it down.
Old guy with glasses.
Basically, if anyone doesn't know who I'm talking about, Google bald guy with glasses UK MasterChef. I'm sure you'll know his face. But I actually really like him in the UK one, just because he's quite funny. Speaking of him, actually, have you ever heard of something called the Ideal Home Show? Or the Ideal Home
maybe.
Exhibition?
Greg Wallace, I've not heard of it. I've been there before that.
So essentially, he had a stall there once, and when I was
Yeah.
there, this was years ago, by the way. This wasn't like 2 years ago. This was like 6, 7 years ago now. But
Yeah.
essentially, I went to this stand, and he was doing like curry sauces,
Oh right.
and they were actually really nice. Like one of them had a bit of a kick, which obviously because it's I think it was a Balti that I had, but still, it was actually a really nice thing. So, I
Huh?
mean, he clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I've been there before, but it was like year 5, I think.
Yeah.
That's like
Um,
fucking ages ago.
yeah.
2013, 2014.
Year 5, yeah, probably would have been about then. I think.
Yes, 9, 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing, but I mean, on MasterChef, he's quite comedic, I think, but
I've not seen UK MasterChef before.
it's actually all right.
I've not really seen MasterChef. I don't really watch that.
I've seen it because my parents watch it, and I sometimes like walk in like, what you watching, and then they're just watching UK MasterChef. But I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously there's some absolute stinkers at the start because obviously you get those weird
but it's
people that
like-
do like watermelon milkshakes and shit on
I
their
think
meal.
it's with every reality show. They're gonna like choose a couple of idiots
Oh yeah,
and put them next to these like cooking geniuses.
yeah, to make them look even smarter.
I
yeah.
think like that they always get like a few idiots.
No,
in
no.
the
When you
show.
say idiots, I think you mean just normal people, like not professional chefs, just like Sally down the road or whatever.
I think it's just people that like apply it on the show just for a joke.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
I think one of my maths teacher's friends did that once.
Oh my
He
god,
applied for The Apprentice for a joke, and he was like the first one to be booted out.
shock. But
Funny.
cooking shows, going completely back to what we were meant to be talking about. I don't mind
Yeah.
them, so I'm going to say not moronic.
Not yeah, okay, not.
They're quite good. Right, the next one on here is a bit odd, to be quite honest. Pensioners.
pension.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
OAPs, old people, people that
So now
claim
we're deciding if
pension from the government. I don't really know another way I could describe a pensioner, to be honest.
so we're now deciding if old people are moronic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Um,
About what 10% of the planet.
I mean, I'm just gonna say not moronic because I will most likely be one at some point in my life. And if I say they're not moronic, no, if I say they're moronic, then I'm gonna look like an idiot.
All the pensioners going after you.
Yeah, exactly. With
Reminds
their
me of that
Zimmer
episode from
frames.
reminds me of that episode from Gumball
Which
when they have
one?
to run away from
Oh
the
my god,
pensioners.
yeah.
That they had that fucking song
Oh
in the
god, yeah.
background.
That was so AIDS. Yeah,
I mean, they kind of have to go not moronic. I don't
yeah.
really know
I mean
what your
that
pensioner
is a
came
very
up
random
from.
one to chuck in there. Just pensioners,
It's a
okay.
weird one. Yeah.
It's a very quick one as well. I mean, there's not a lot you can really say on them.
No,
Um,
not really.
but you know what? For the sake of being devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
why would you go moronic? Like, is there
Um.
any reason why you would go moronic, or because I can think of maybe one.
Maybe one. They're old.
No, I'm talking like they walk slowly. So when they're like on the
Yeah. No
pavement,
shit.
well, like when they're walking down the road, and I'm also walking on the same pavement, they walk about 0.3 miles an hour,
Oh mate, that
and it's a
reminds
pain in the
me.
ass.
When I used to cycle to your house, I'd always get stuck behind these two pensioners,
See,
and it's
there's
like, no, one of them had a mobility scooter, and they were impossible to get around because they would consume the entire pavement, so there's
yeah.
no space,
I'll tell you what, I hate people that
and they
do that. You
can't
know.
hear the bell on the bike, and
Yeah,
then have to somehow go across the road, which is a main road,
yeah,
which is full of cars, and it's fucking impossible to get any space.
yeah.
Yeah,
But like, the thing is, right? Thing is with pensioners, there's three kinds of walking, right? Like, there's three
three
types of
kinds of
walks.
walking.
So there's
Right.
dawdling.
Totally.
There is.
Yeah.
There's dawdling, which is going pensioner speed,
Yeah.
right? But if there's so realistically, there's three. Okay, so I'm gonna name them. So number one is aimless wandering, which is slow as shit.
Yeah.
There's two, which is normal, which is like a
Normal.
standard average person's walk, and
Yeah.
three, which is borderline running, which is the
So
category that
basically
I
what you
fall
do.
into. I fall into number three. It feels like I've been told that it's like I'm sprinting, which I'm really not. I just walk fast
running
because of
home from school.
yeah, exactly. I just have legs. So essentially, old people have zero point 0.3 miles an hour, right? So number one.
Oh yeah.
And me being a number three, I walk about 4 to 5 miles an hour depending on the day. Right? So there
Yeah.
is like an easy gap that I walk past. Because obviously
Yeah.
I just speed round them. But
Yeah.
if I walk next to a number two or a level two,
Yeah.
there is a prolonged period of time where I'm essentially walking next to this person,
Yeah. It is a bit awkward.
which
isn't
is
it?
awkward as hell. So, like every normal person, I kick it into fucking third gear and fucking book it. Like I just turn on the fucking burners and go round them. Granted,
only-
I look like a spastic because it looks like I'm walking at an unhealthy speed, like I'm being fucking chased by a murderer three steps behind
I
me.
feel like when you overtake them, you still got to keep that pace until
Exactly.
like you turn. Or
You've got to like have.
But
But the thing is, most pavements as well are only big enough for 1 3/4 person.
Oh yeah, that's annoying, isn't it?
So it's either I can either hope that I turn slightly sideways and go around them quick enough that they don't notice and it's not weird, or I be a complete dick and just swing it wide and walk in the road if no cars are coming, which I've only done a few times in my
never
life,
goes well.
but it is
Yeah.
annoying. But the thing is, when I'm walking past a level two, it probably looks like to the other person that I'm in a hurry because I have just because they walk at an average
Yeah, I
speed
see
and
what
I
you
have just
mean.
fucking booked it past them faster than I normally would
Yeah,
to be able to get to my destination and not have to walk behind this slow person.
but we obviously saying not right, not
Oh yeah, we're
moronic.
saying not moronic for pensioners. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We just went on a
that's,
complete
yeah.
ramble for about
About
walking
walking.
for
Yeah.
15
Uh.
minutes.
Anyway, what's the next one?
So the next one is delivery services.
I use delivery
We're not
services
gonna
quite a
name
bit.
any because they're not paying us. They're not sponsoring this episode. So you know the ones we mean. I'm not even gonna butcher the names because you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
So all the
I know.
delivery companies that deliver you your chicken, your burgers, your pizzas, your whatever.
It depends. Like sometimes the delivery services they do have like food that I won't find on campus.
True.
So on campus, I can only find like there's pizza, chicken, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like if I order stuff, they do have like more unique food sometimes.
Yeah, but
Then
my
yeah,
my issue is with delivery services is they always add a
delivery
service fee,
charge.
a service fee
That's the problem. Yeah,
because they inflate the prices to get some profit, and also the delivery fee for some reason is always like £2.50, which is
it's
fucking
always
ridiculous, seeing as it's like down the road, not literally down the road, but you know what I mean. Like it's not exact, it's less than a mile away, and I'm paying £2.50 for delivery because of the
the thing
thieving bastards.
if I want a pizza or chicken, I'll just walk 10 minutes down the road
Fair.
to this shop, and because like a delivery for pizza, also for like one large pizza, it's like 20 quid total.
Yeah, I guess.
Whereas if I go down the road 10 minutes, I spend £13 and I've got two medium pizzas.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. Delivery services inflate the prices, and they add a massive delivery fee for no fucking reason. So just for that reason, I'm going to say moronic. But for the actual, delivery, for the service of delivery, is usually pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like most things are normally a tenner.
What do you mean?
Like I order like Chinese food.
Yeah.
It's this like for one person, so it lasts me like a night, right? It'd be like enough for a dinner, enough for a meal.
Yeah.
It's usually around £10.
That's not
It's,
bad.
it's okay. It's okay. I'll probably say not because I do use them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go not as well, just for the convenience, the fact that I don't have to leave the house to go and pick up my chicken or whatever I've ordered.
You have to consider what I mean, you'd have to weigh up the
Yeah,
advantages and
exactly.
disadvantages
I
of
mean,
going around the corner or whatnot.
I quite like delivery services for the most part. I specifically like the ones where it tells you who's picked up your order, because one time,
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
joking here, I've had a guy called Christ, and he was on a bicycle, and it literally said, "Christ has your order," and Christ is on a bike. And I literally went up to my brothers and I was like, "Yo, Christ on a bike." It was quite funny. Yeah. So
Well,
I'm gonna say not moronic for delivery services.
yeah, not
Lovely. Right. The last one on here for this episode is tissues.
tissues.
The thing that you use to blow your nose after you've sneezed. Or if you're from East London, your sleeve.
Your sleeve. Do people do that?
What, wipe their nose on their sleeve after they've sneezed? Yeah, of course they do, Dan.
Yeah.
You've never seen that
Why?
done before in your life.
Why?
I don't fucking know. I don't do it.
That is. Oh, that is.
You know what? I only do it if I've got no tissues with me. Because I'm
You're
not
just gonna
just
have to.
gonna.
You're just gonna have to wait.
No, but you know how like sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna because yeah. Anyway, I don't mind tissues. They're quite a useful thing.
That's the only
They can be
things you
used to clean up things. Like if you've spilt some orange juice on your desk. or
The only downside
I
is
don't know.
if you have a cold, you constantly use tissues. It does like
True.
you know what I mean. It does scrape away the skin gradually from the nose.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It does. It
Yeah,
makes your nose quite sensitive.
yeah, but then that's when you have a cold. You're just constantly applying
Yeah.
tissues to your
You
face
know
like
what?
the entire day.
I'm gonna change this one slightly. As in, I'm gonna do this one as well. What do we think about what are they called? Um, handkerchiefs. Then it's quite an old-fashioned notion. Obviously, no one really carries around a handkerchief nowadays.
No, it's just
Um,
kind of the same as a tissue, really. It's just
except it's
uh,
reusable. You can chuck it in the wash or wash it by hand or whatever.
thing with tissues. It's like after 2 or 3 sneezes, it's kind of like damp,
Painful.
and that's it.
No, it feels like sandpaper.
It's just that's it. It's only
You can only
two or
use
three
a tissue
sneezes. Gone.
a maximum of 4 times.
Yeah,
One
true.
in each of the 4 corners. I only ever use 3 because I don't really want to put my hand in what I've just used it for,
Yeah,
which is
but it's
pretty
like
understandable. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I've got nothing against tissues. They're quite useful.
nothing against handkerchiefs either. So
Yeah.
I'll say
So I'm going
not.
to say not moronic. So the wrap up for this one is dictionary, moronic, cooking shows, not moronic, pensioners, not moronic, delivery services, not moronic, tissues, not moronic.
One more on it.
Yeah, 1 out of 4.
Did we have like 3 more last time?
I could not tell you.
I remember there was quite a lot.
So, you know what? I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm going to
Sure.
ask it to you twice this episode. Once,
Right. Okay.
once now, and once after we've had a conversation about it.
Right.
So the question is: were dragons real?
The dragons are real.
So dragon, you know what a dragon is, right? Most
Yeah, I
people
know
do.
dragons.
A flying reptile thing. You know.
The mythical creature.
Was it mythical though? And
I, I,
I've actually got a logic behind why I'm asking this. By the way.
don't say so like Komodo dragon.
No, no,
'Cause
no. I'm
it's
not talking
not
about fucking.
a
No, I'm
dragon.
not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about the massive, giant creature that was apparently reptilian with wings.
No,
The things that fly.
no.
All right. Now think about it like this, right? So throughout history, across all different unconnected cultures, so the Mayans, the Romans, the English, the Greek, the Chinese,
Yeah.
Southern African, Northern African, all of these different cultures, right? They
Yeah.
every single one of them has paintings, pictures, or depictions of large lizards with wings. They
Could
did.
just be
Like
birds.
if you look at all of the unconnected cultures throughout history, they all have a form of dragon on their depictions of dragons, right? Now,
Yeah,
but how did the Mayans and the Romans in the same time period draw dragons?
they could have just seen birds and could have just drew it on there.
What, drew a bird?
Well, yeah, they could have just drew a bird.
But
And
think
just
about it
came
this
out as a
way.
dragon.
Think about it this
I
way,
don't
right?
really-
Like birds, in order for an animal of that size to fly, so it would have to have hollow bones, right? So in order for these dragons to fly and be the size they were depicted as, their bones would have to be incredibly, incredibly light in weight.
So I just missed that. I wonder.
Right? These hollow bird bones do not fossilize for the most part, meaning we would have no evidence of dragon bones except for all of these unconnected cultures that have depictions of dragons that would have never
I feel like it
interacted
could-
with one another. The Mayans
feel
and
like
the Romans,
it's
to
always
my
like-
knowledge, never connected. So how did they draw the exact same thing during the same time period when they were never connected?
See, I feel like it could have just been stories. It's not really a hard concept to think about. It's like You take a bird.
Try and think of a new mythical creature right now. Go.
Okay.
Describe it.
I'm thinking of a giant Komodo dragon crossbred with the abilities of a tiger. I could just come up with something like that. Dragon, for example, you could just think giant bird, and you just had some features.
The point I'm getting at, Dan. The point I'm
I
getting
don't
at
re-
is it's hard to create a realistic-ish story or create an entirely new fictional creature throughout. But the thing is, Dan, it's throughout all of the different cultures throughout history. You know what?
looking at them.
I'm gonna go on Google right now. Pick a culture, any culture throughout history.
I'm just looking at them right now. Central America, Quetzalcoatl. I can't even pronounce that.
Don't
It's
try and
Central
butcher it.
America. It's a dragon god.
When was this during? What
I
time
don't
period was
know.
this?
I have no idea. I've just found a website that explains different dragons.
But genuinely, all of these unconnected cultures have different types of dragons. Granted, they all look different. Like the Chinese dragon looked completely different to the English or the American dragon. But they all are large reptiles with some form of wings.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't really say they existed.
Okay, interesting. Because
And,
after actually looking into it, it is the evidence is pretty damning. Because all of the I've said it about 17,000 times, and I don't care. I'm going to say it again. All of the different unconnected cultures throughout history have depictions of dragons. That can't be a coincidence.
I'm just looking at Scandinavia, Fafnir. It's Norse mythology. It says it was a huge dragon armored with scales that cannot be penetrated by other weapons, had curved claws and wings, breathe fire.
Yep.
Which breathe fire is a common.
Granted, they might not breathe.
breathe.
Granted, they might not have breathed fire, breathed fire, breathed fire.
It's
I don't
like
know.
they've actually thought of a story
I mean, Dan, it's what is it?
according to the story. So I just think
it's a myth and legend.
just
Dan, it's
story.
myths and legends, man. They've got to be based off something. They've got to be based off something.
It's imagination.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's like what counts as a dragon? I mean, they could have just thought of different ideas, albeit a little bit similar, and then we've just clumped them in as the same category.
Maybe. Who knows? But actually, speaking of fire, that is. Isn't it mad how fire burns in our visible spectrum? Because if it didn't, we'd be fucked.
Oh yeah.
Because like, imagine fire in I don't know, like imagine we couldn't see fire. It was only visible in the UV spectrum.
That is pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie.
We'd be fucked. Because how would we know? We could just be like, oh, there's like you wouldn't be able to see the fire. You could just be in a burning building and just feel it. You wouldn't be able to see anything.
Yeah, that is pretty horrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. So think about everything else that we can't see outside of our visual spectrum. Who knows? A bit odd that.
Yeah,
Not-
that is
Going back to fossils slightly.
fossils. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you two stories that are actually quite interesting, I think.
Alright.
So in 2006, right,
Yeah.
a fossil hunter found a Triceratops bone eroding out of a hillside in Montana. Right? After months of digging it out, the guy realised that the fossil wasn't just of a trike. It was also of a tyrannosaur intertwined with it.
What the heck?
This became known as the dueling dinosaurs, right? With two of the most famous dinosaurs appearing to be locked in a mortal combat. Whether or not they actually died that way is unclear. But
How?
it was locked away. This fossil was locked away due to court battles for 14 years.
Oh, jeez.
So no one could study it, no one could look at it until 2020. So 3 years ago, when a Museum of Natural Sciences was able to acquire it, and since
Yeah.
then, scientists at the museum have been working on it essentially to find out what led to their demise.
Oh, okay.
So whether it just happened to be buried together or whether they did actually die fighting each other. Until they find out, it's still a mystery. But I feel like that's quite a cool thing, because imagine you find a fossil, and you come across a Triceratops bone,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, this is sick. You dig it out, and then there's a Tyrannosaurus fossil intertwined with it.
Yeah,
That's
it's just pretty
ridiculous.
weird.
That's
Yeah,
cool, if anything.
that is bizarre.
But another one. In
Yeah, what's the second
2007,
one? Yeah,
a farmer in China
yeah.
found a fossil of a smaller dinosaur with wings. Could
Oh,
be a
wow.
dragon, Dan. Who knows?
A smaller dinosaur with rings.
Yeah, it was preserved extremely well, and upon analysing it, scientists knew that they were looking at something very unusual, right?
All right.
Because apparently the wings were unlike any other dinosaur wings they'd seen before. The fossil was named Yi Chi.
Yeah.
I've probably butchered that, but you know, which essentially means strange wing in Mandarin.
Oh, right.
I'm told. So, allegedly, I don't. Again, I'm not an archaeologist, so I don't exactly know how they work this out. But apparently, it had feathers like birds and other winged dinos around the same time, but also had a long bone extending from its wrist, with
right,
evidence
that is
of
cool.
membranes like the wings of bats and pterosaurs.
What's it called again?
Yi Chi, Yiqi.
Yi.
Yeah, it's
UI.
Yiqi. So essentially, they couldn't actually fly. Yi Chi, it could not fly. Apparently, it could only glide, kind of like flying squirrels today. They can't actually fly;
Oh,
they
I
just
see.
glide.
Yeah.
But the fossil did help piece together the diversity of the vertebrates that evolved to be in the air at some point during the Jurassic period, which is pretty cool, I think. If anyone hasn't gathered, by the way, I am a big dinosaur buff. I like dinosaurs, I like fossils, I'm interested in all that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, it does look like a dragon, but it is
I
a
told you.
dinosaur.
Is
It
it?
is a dinosaur, though.
Exactly. That's the thing. Could a dragon just be a dinosaur? But we've just called it a different thing.
It just looks like one.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Could these ancient cultures have seen this Yi Chi in China and gone, that looks like a dragon? They've called it a dragon.
It looks like bats.
Yeah, then they have wings like bats. It's the same kind of wings.
No, but it's like you look at the body, for example. I would say they're more bat-like
I
than
mean,
dragon.
dragon's a dragon, mate. Dragon's a dragon, if you ask me. Which also, speaking of ancient creatures and sharks and stuff, have you seen the size of a megalodon tooth compared to a great white tooth?
Oh, that's like massive, aren't they?
It's like triple or quadruple the size. It's ridiculous. Like, it's actually such an
actually-
odd
But
thing.
people are actually selling them.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
to be fair, have you ever found a fossil?
No.
I have. I've actually found two in my
Jesus, they're
lifetime.
massive.
Yeah, the megalodon teeth. Yeah, they're huge. I've actually found two fossils in my lifetime.
Oh,
One
right.
of them, they both happened at beaches. One of which was an ammonite,
All right.
which is essentially just a sea. It it lived in the sea, and it's like a you know the spiral shell
Yeah.
that every like person has ever seen a fossil of. Like whenever someone mentions
Yeah.
fossil, they think that. Because I
Oh.
found one of them once because I saw a rock had a crack in it when I was younger. So naturally, being me, I decided to throw it at a wall, and it cracked open. And it was an ammonite
Oh
fossil,
right.
which is pretty cool. Um, and the other time, these were years apart, by the way. This wasn't like the same beach and the same time, but a few years later or before, I can't remember in what order it was. I found a trilobite
Oh okay.
fossil, which were little crustacean things. Uh, if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just Google the two. Just Google ammonite and trilobite. You'll know what I'm talking about once you
Should
see
you
it.
show the images on when you edit this?
Nah, that's a long pain to do. Plus, I need to find non-copyrighted ones. Anyway, yeah. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, Google them. I'm sure you will. But yeah, so I found a trilobite one. Uh, Pretty much used the same tactic. Saw a crack in a rock, threw it at a wall. Found an ammonite in it. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
fair enough.
No, found a trilobite in it. That one. That's pretty cool. So I have found two fossils in my lifetime. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed fossil hunting actually. Obviously, it wasn't a very long occurrence in my life that I go to beaches and look for fossils. But it's one of those
No.
things. If you ever do see a crack in a rock on a beach, definitely try and open it if you guys can, because there might be a fossil in it. You never know. That is a genuine thing. I mean, I found two of them that way. So if you see any cool looking rocks that have a crack in it, and when I say a crack, I don't just mean like a dent. I'm talking like a hole that might go like partially through it, essentially.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But yeah, have you ever found any fossils?
No.
Oh, I want to go back to beaches now. I want to find another fossil. To be fair, I think if my memory serves me correctly, which it might not. To be fair, I was very young when both of these happened. Um, I believe I found one in Devon, like down at Devon Cliffs, and the other in a beach on Cornwall. No,
All
on a
right.
beach in Cornwall. That's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But yes, I mean, if any of you are ever down that way and of looking at rocks on the beach, and you see one with a hole in it, crack it open. You never know. You might find a fossil.
Oh well.
And if you do, send it. Send an image of it to us. We'd quite like to see it. Well, I would anyway. I don't know about Dan. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that's more of your thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Should we
But
move on to a new topic?
go for it, lad. Right then. So, I've completely forgotten my topic. Give me one moment while I remember it. Oh yeah. So, how much money
Yeah.
would you spend, or would you pay, to see the funniest or best moments of your life?
Um.
Like you don't remember, like even things that you don't remember. Like so someone offers you, obviously not like, so you go into a building. They're doing this memory thing,
Yeah.
where you can watch back old memories. How much money
Oh.
would you pay to rewatch your best or funniest memories throughout your entire life?
See, I don't know. I would pay about £1,000.
I probably would, just
I think a
because
grand is probably
I
fair.
feel like
Yeah.
it would be such an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. True. I think so.
Because you would essentially relive those memories.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
think about some of the best mates. Think about some of the best times you've had with your friends over the years, or even just by yourself. I'm sure a lot of people would pay a lot of money to watch those.
Yeah. I think so. That's pretty cool.
But I mean, it just depends really, because like if you've got it depends on your age, I guess. Because I mean, as you get older, I guess you have more
I
fun
guess with
time with your
age,
mates
yeah,
and
with age
stuff.
it's probably a bit better, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it would still be nice to watch, I think. Can you think of anything you would rewatch? Like any memories or
Oh,
any
just mainly when I was about
times?
4 years old, and that's it.
To be fair, I'd like to watch what my life was like before I can remember it. Like, you know,
Oh
at a
yeah,
young age when you
that'd be
become
cool, yeah.
conscious and you're just like, oh shit, I can actually like you have free thought.
Yeah.
So you choose to, I don't know, lick a lamppost or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or
Yeah, I
like you
know what you
start to
mean.
choose what you want for lunch. I don't know. Um, like I'd like to see what my life was like before that. Before I was just like I'm non-conscious. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Before I had conscious thought. There we go. Um, so I feel like that would be such an interesting thing to look back and watch.
Okay.
I'm sure you'd see some embarrassing stuff because you'd be like, "Why the fuck did I do that?"
Oh yeah, it's
Then
typical.
again,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone
All
has
done
that
that, haven't
throughout their
we?
entire life. Really, that's
Yeah.
not just an autonomous thing.
But how much would you pay for that though? Is
Oh,
it still a grand?
it depends how much there is. Because if it's like 3 clips, I'm not going to pay a grand for that. But if
How
it's
much?
like, you know, what, I'd pay probably 100 quid per clip.
100 quid. Depends how long they last.
True. But like, okay, so let's put it in context of me and you. So let's say you're watching us in year 10 maths doing one of those like fucking puzzle games or the map. You know what I'm talking about? Where
Oh,
like
well,
the letters one,
yep,
where you do a
yep.
thing that leads to another letter, that
Could
leads
always
to
make
another
some.
one, that leads to
Yep.
another one.
Could always
You know.
make some stupid word. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could rewatch all of those. How much would you pay to rewatch
That's
those or relive
still
those?
good £400.
Exactly. Like, you know what, viewers? Let us know, viewers. How much would you spend? How much would you pay
I'll
to?
pay for the year 10 and 11 maths lessons.
I wouldn't pay for the lessons. I'd just pay for the jokes we
Not really
had
the
in them.
just like to go back and watch.
Yeah.
Funny. And
Okay.
then probably the GCSE art ones because I remember that being awful.
Yeah.
It was just funny to look back on.
I can name a few circumstances. So pretty much any time I was in, actually no, a few times when I was in F18. Uh, so for anyone that didn't go to our school, you won't know what the fuck this means. But when especially year 10 and 11, whenever I was in F11, no, F15, fucking hell, I can't even say it now.
It was one of
Any
those
time in
four.
year 10 or 11,
I
I
was one
was
of those
in
ones.
F18. It was a good time. So
Yeah.
yeah. What other memory would I go back and rewatch?
Mainly secondary school.
Yeah, a large amount of it is probably secondary school. I think there's a few bits from sixth form, but it was only 2 years, so I feel like I didn't have that much of a connection with the lads.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Especially
Yeah.
as we were out for half of year 12 because of COVID. Kind of
Mm,
thing that.
yeah. Yeah.
So viewers, let us know how much money you'd pay to rewatch some of your best or funniest or whatever memories. So essentially, be a fly on the wall during your own memories, or even in your own self. You know what I mean? Yeah. How much? Like, I reckon I pay 100 quid per clip personally. Um, just because I feel like we had some good times back at secondary
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't go back to primary school much. I think I've got maybe three or four memories from primary school that I'd like to rewatch.
Yeah. Primary school wasn't that good compared to secondary or sixth form.
Yeah. I only say that because there are a few memories in primary school which were quite they were a good time. Like not because
Yeah.
anything funny happened or anything like that. Just because it was a simpler time. It was more fun. I feel like I
Oh,
enjoyed myself more. You know.
yeah. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Should we
Yeah. Yeah.
move on to
Go for it.
the next one? So I was just looking the other day. Yeah, in my yeah, I was watching a YouTube video the other day about mobile game ads,
Oh fucking! I hate them.
and I was just looking because he had a point where it was like YouTube creators, they make material that would obviously be banned from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But then when mobile game ads repeat those same actions, albeit in a different form, they get
Yeah.
away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
I
was just thinking
mean,
the other, yeah,
in a way, I mean, I don't think they get away with it because obviously you've got to go through a whole screening process. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a mobile game ad that swears or has phallic or rude object. Actually, no, I have.
yeah,
Because
exactly. Yeah, it's just
what
that's
the
what I mean.
like,
I
there
think
are some
YouTube,
mobile game ads that are taking the piss.
I think YouTube is being quite hypocritical because they're all about protecting kids and whatnot, but then they go ahead and do that. It just doesn't. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's not clear what they want.
true. Mobile
It's
game
not,
ads are such a stupid thing as well.
I feel like back in the day with the Supercell games, I thought those ads were actually kind of they were thought out, right?
To an
They were
extent,
thought
yeah.
out. They were. No, I mean they weren't perfect, but they were pretty good. Like they did tell what the story was.
Yeah,
They told what the game footage was, and just gave you a small insight into what the game was.
true.
Be honest, and that was it. Job done.
Yeah.
Like it
Or it would
was.
show you like a trailer.
It would show you a trailer. I thought it was just good enough for what it is, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know, they just developed into because you see a lot on TV or just any ad, for example. You always see at the bottom in white text, not actual game footage.
Yeah, not actual gameplay
I can't
footage.
tell you how much I've seen that.
I mean, to
So
be
much.
fair, with some games it makes sense.
It's like mobile games though. You don't those ads. You don't even see that text.
Yeah.
It's like
Also, one thing I'm pissed about with mobile game ads is the fucking tight is the crop the what's it called um like the little X
oh that shit. That's
like
a
to
meme
close
at this
off.
point.
Like every time it is the most small. It is the smallest thing known to man, and you can never click it because as soon as you try, it just takes you to the fucking app store or whatever.
What was it? Was the meme? It was like grain of rice, world's smallest computer, close ad button.
Exactly, yeah. It legit is
I
because
remember that.
it's so stupid how small it is. Like genuinely.
But it's just another game full of adverts, right?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand because the game that they're advertising is another game full of adverts.
Yeah.
You're just advertising more adverts,
Yeah.
and just become this endless loop of advertising more adverts.
Yeah. That's why I don't think
Yeah.
I could be wrong here, but has anyone ever actually downloaded a game from mobile game ads that's not for a YouTube video? Has anyone done it out of like because they wanted to or they thought the app was good?
I used to download Piano Tolls too, but then every click just came up with a 30-second ad.
Yeah.
I think Piano Tolls 3 was.
The only
It's
reason that's different
Mm.
is because that was a game before mobile game ads existed.
But they've kind of ruined that now. I'm not gonna lie.
Shock. Mobile game
Wa-
ads?
yeah.
Mobile games being ruined? No, surely not. That's
But
never happened
I feel like
before.
how do you make a mobile game?
I
It's
don't know,
like
mate. Man, never made one.
no,
Nor
but
will
it's
I.
like you want to obviously prioritize your audience, but then obviously you need to make money as well, right?
Yep.
So it's like how do you achieve that balance successfully?
You don't. You sell out.
No, but it's like I feel like some games have done it well. If you look at what like Plants vs Zombies or Angry Birds used to be,
Yeah, I know what you mean, actually. Um,
um,
I guess it depends on the studio that makes them.
I thought the Supercell games were quite good because I thought
Yeah,
that
they
was
used to be. I haven't played a Supercell game in
the problem with
quite
them,
literal years.
they do get quite boring after a while.
Yeah.
That's why they have a lot of like updates now.
I mean,
Um,
that's one way to keep your uh, audience engaged, I guess. Just
it's one of those
constant
games where you
updates.
need friends to play with.
Yeah, because otherwise it
You
does
can
get
play
quite
it
boring.
solo, but like a whole social aspect of being in the same group as your friends,
Yeah, or the
fighting
same like
against other,
clan or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, fighting against other groups, doing missions together.
it's quite
It
fun.
is, yeah, it is fun, and it really
But
does
I
bring
think
people
that's the same
together.
with every game. I don't play many solo games now. Granted, I've played a few recently, like Fallout 4, Fallen Order. I'm gonna play another one later this year, Jedi Survivor.
Mm.
Like there's a few not mobile game. There's a few games that I will play single player because it's the only way you can.
But
But games are
yeah,
generally more enjoyable when you are with mates.
I think the only way to really make a game is like obviously the way I think of it, a video game is a story, right?
Yeah,
But or you're playing as a group or the main character,
yeah,
and you're controlling their actions, right? So it's like you're immersed in the story rather than just watching it.
yeah,
That's the way I think of it. So it's kind of like a film, but obviously as you're playing it, it's going to be more interactive. So obviously you're going to charge more. I honestly feel like just having, you know what I mean, like a 4 or 5 hours long story, and
yeah.
then just charge like a small fee to play your game. I
To be
think that's
fair,
always
that's
mm,
not a bad way to go, except one the only thing that I don't like about story games is the fact that once you've done the story, there's nothing more you can do. Like, because I completed Jedi Fallen Order once, and then
mm,
I decided to complete the game fully. So I decided to uh, finish all the achievements, get all of the cosmetics, get everything, and because it was all free as well, so it's
mm.
not like there was a paywall behind any of it.
Yeah.
So I just literally decided, fuck it, I'm going to max this game out and finish it. And I did exactly that. Like I finished Fallen Order, and I haven't played it since my third run through.
I feel like I feel like games which you can continuously play.
Yeah,
Like I say there's no end goal. It's like obviously you want to improve, but it's like one of those things which you play with your friends casually.
yeah, but
I feel
like,
like those games have become more popular.
yeah,
I
like
feel
the only reason
yeah,
I like single player games is because I don't want to have to wait for my mates to be on to play it. So that's why
mm.
I kind of sometimes prefer single player games because I don't always have the time to go, yo, mate, can you hop on for an hour
See,
or whatever.
I
Like
always yeah,
it makes it more fun. I think.
I always think just charging a small fee to play the game is better than like microtransactions.
Yes and no, because microtransactions can be a good thing.
They can if it's like a small. I'd use Clash of Clans for example.
Yeah,
You can pay a couple of quid to get a few gems to speed up an upgrade, right?
but it
It's a
doesn't
small
change
boost.
the game.
It doesn't change the game, but it's like a small boost, right?
Exactly.
Um,
It's a quality of life thing. It's not do this to beat the game. Because
I mean, yeah,
I can't remember what game it was now, but there was a game I was playing fairly recently where it was, oh yeah, that was it. So on Fallout 4, there are like different workshops provided by the company that made it, right?
yeah,
The only thing is, some of those achievements are locked behind a paywall. I say a paywall;
yeah.
it's only like $3.99 per thing. But I feel like I don't want to have to pay an extra, I don't know, like 15 odd quid
It's like just
just
paying
to,
to. It's paying to access more of the game instead of working to access more of the game.
yeah. But the thing
Because
is,
like if I want, yeah,
I like it in the sense that it's nice to be able to like finish a game. But if I have to pay to finish the game, I'm not going to do it.
mm,
Like, I'm not going to spend, I think it's something like 20 quid to finish Fallout 4.
yeah.
I will finish the base game, and then just leave the achievements that I can't do without a paywall. Like, granted, people are going to be like, well, what's the fucking point? The point is that
Yeah.
I don't fancy paying 20 quid to finish a game.
I think an example is in Clash of Clans. If I want things like if I get a Barbarian King,
Yeah.
all right, it's quite hard work because you have to get to a certain level. You have to fight and win to like a certain amount of times, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time, and it's more fulfilling when you work for it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then even with the small microtransactions,
Like, they're
it's
not necessary.
you still get like some fulfillment because of it because they only do a portion of the work, right?
Yeah.
If you had to pay for the Barbarian King, you know what I mean? It just kind of
It defeats the purpose, yeah.
yeah, it just you don't get any fulfillment for it.
Yeah. Because
The
it
whole
is just
point of
like I paid
yeah,
X amount. And also, I always feel kind of not guilty about buying stuff in games, but also kind of guilty because I never want to buy something and then, like, a month or two down the line, stop playing the game and then go, fuck, shouldn't have spent 20 quid or whatever it is on a game that I'm
have
going
you
to never
seen
play again.
Plants vs Zombies 2? What EA have done?
No. EA are shocking anyway. Everyone knows this.
You have to now pay to use some of the plants.
Oh, fucking hell.
And in the original game, they've done this thing which is criminal. You know how you got sunflowers? They drop down from the sky. You collect them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
now have, they now have a dropping play ad button, which is right next to the bloody sunflowers, and it like pauses your game and plays an ad. Oh, it's so annoying.
Welcome to 2023, guys, where every game is just filled with microtransactions and shitty pay to win bollocks.
But it's a mobile game. I honestly think a paid game is more ideal.
No,
Paid
I
game,
think a paid game should not have microtransactions or ads.
it should just be a fiver, and then
It should be the game. Like,
it's the game.
if I pay, I don't know, if I pay for a game, I then don't want to have ads constantly. Like, if I get bombarded with ads after I bought the game, I'm going to be pissed. It's like,
just
why the fuck have I paid you then?
if you pay for a game, it should be no other like you know what I mean, no other payments in the game
Exactly.
at all,
Like,
including
that affect gameplay.
I think
Like, you can buy like quality of life stuff, like
yeah,
cosmetic items. That's fine.
the stuff just to make things you
Yeah,
know
so
what I
like
mean, a bit
look nicer.
easier for
Yeah,
yourself.
but if it's like, oh, you've got to pay to progress, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, I think that's a bit stupid.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like games companies are starting to get more scummy as well with that, like, microtransaction
I
thing.
think honestly, Xbox games are a lot better because I feel like they actually think of a story.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because apparently, like, I never really played Halo. I played I think Halo 2 on the Xbox 360. But I didn't really like get into it essentially.
Yeah,
But I feel like stuff like that, it used to have like a story behind it, but then
yeah, I see what you
like
mean.
nowadays they're focusing on like graphics and quality of gameplay over the story, because
Yeah,
a game with no um a game with a bad story will still get played,
yeah, I see what you
but
mean.
a game with a bad gameplay won't be played. So you've got to find the balance
Yeah.
between good gameplay and good story.
Honestly, I feel like I've not played this game before, but there was one called Until Dawn, and then the company made a new game like last year.
Yeah.
I thought I thought those looked good because the story was like 5-6 hours.
Mm.
The gameplay looks alright. Like, and obviously they charged like I think it was like £10-20 or whatever, like a small fee just to play it,
Yeah.
which is you know what I mean. It's fair enough, I think.
Also, this is kind of separate, but like, has anyone you know ever rented a game?
No.
Because I don't think I've ever met anyone that has rented a game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has gone to one of the second-hand shops or whatever and gone, can I rent this? And then rented the game. I don't know if that's still a thing in this day and age. I could be like being a fucking idiot here. But I don't think that exists.
Yeah, I know what you
Does
mean.
that make sense? Like, I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen anyone do that. I don't think anyone does do that. So, yeah.
Listen, I still think Minecraft, Terraria, for example, are probably the best ones there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because it's replayable. You don't have to. It's not like a story game where once you've played it once, you know what happens. It's done.
I'm quite impressed with the realm price because that looked fairly cheap.
Yeah. What is it? It's $3.29 a month for 2 people and the host, or it's like $6.90, or is it? Yeah, $7.99 for the for like 10 people. So it's actually not a bad price. Hashtag not sponsored. Mojang, if you want to sponsor us, please fucking do. Because, well, one, wouldn't mind earning a bit of money off the podcast, and two, I genuinely like the game. So
yeah,
please, Mojang, please. So we're going to end it there, guys. So if you guys have enjoyed the video, go ahead, hit that like button, and if you want to see more like this, you can go ahead and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Yep. See ya.